So today we are going to discuss about the introduction of schema. Okay,
Mhm,
how you
mhm,
can create the new schema
mhm.
and create a new login for a different user. Let's say, for example, you are working in a project and different members are joining in your project, and you need to give the access to your database to all those
Yeah.
users. So how you can do that?
Yes.
And the real time thing is like changing one SQL schema object to the another SQL schema. So how you can do that? So we'll see all those things. But before going to get into all these things, do you have any idea regarding what is schema? How you can create the schema? What it contains? Any idea?
Not directly, indirectly.
Okay. Okay, okay. So definitely you heard of like yes, in a server definitely so many databases will be there, right? So you can see
Yeah.
if you click on this database, you can find I mean the databases, right? Now if you click on any of the databases like AdventureWorks,
Yeah.
GICS,
Yeah.
MIS,
Yeah. Yeah.
blah blah blah. So inside that you will find a list of tables, view, external, synonyms,
Yeah. Yeah.
programs, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So
Mm.
a SQL database contains multiple objects such as table, view, store procedure, function, index, trigger, and we define all these into a SQL schema, and which is known as we can say it as a logical collection of the database object,
Yes.
right? So in another way, we can say a schema is a collection of all these logical objects. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
any doubt or
No.
confusion here?
No. No. No.
Okay, cool. So the next thing is definitely if a schema is there, someone who will be there who is the owner of that schema, right?
Yeah.
So the owner of schema is known as schema owner. So that
Mhm.
is a new concept, right? So
Yeah.
we can say yes, one user is there who is going to perform all those creation and all the other stuff. So basically, the owner of all those objects, okay, indirectly we can say schema owner, okay, because he is the one who created all those things, and he is having the full rights to give the access to the another user, right? Let's say for example you are owning a house, right? and
Mhm.
and you have the full authority to pass the key of your house to xyz member of another
Yeah.
family, right?
Yes.
So so it is like that. So schema is a collection of object. If you need to give the access of the schema object to the another user, you need to create a user, and then you can pass the access to that user.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
clear?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean why do we need the schema is it's because we can quickly transfer the ownership of the schema to the another user, okay?
Yes.
And we
Yes.
can we can share a single schema among the multiple user, because in a project, right, let's say for example xyz bank database, right? But in that one so many different user will be there
Yeah.
who is handling all those database, right? So
Yeah.
if you implement the schema concept, you can simply give the access to that schema, okay?
I'm with. Yes.
Okay. The next thing is it allows you to move the database object from one schema to another schema, right? Like let's say for example this one which I said will definitely cover in details in the last, okay?
Hmm.
So we'll see. I mean, so far any doubt or
No.
confusion you are
No.
having? Okay.
No.
But before going to get into the creation of schema, okay, let's understand the concept of what is user, okay? What do you mean by a user? If you need to create a login for a new user, how you can perform that one?
Yes.
right? Because in a project, definitely is some members will join on a daily basis, right? So to create that one, right, to create the new logins, okay, what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do is first you need to explore, I mean, if you go, database related information will be inside database.
Mm-hmm.
New users means you are going to give, you are going to add a uh, giving the access key to xyz, right? So
Yes, yes.
it will be under your security, right? So under security you will find a logins tab, okay, and you can see here I have created a user like Abhishek, okay.
Yes.
Similarly, you can create a different users. Okay, let's say for example you want to create a new user. Okay, so simply give a right click and you will get an
Login.
option like new
New log.
login. Okay,
Yes.
so once you click the new login, it will pop up a new window, and there you need to fill the basic informations, right?
Yeah.
Like who will be the user. Let's say for example Arvinder,
Mm.
okay, is a, or let's say for example ARV, okay,
Mm.
ARV01, okay. Just
Mm-hmm.
remember this name. The next thing is the authentication method, right? There are two authentication method. One is Windows authentication and another one is SQL Server authentication method.
Yes.
Okay. So in SQL Server, if you choose the SQL Server authentication method, it will ask you for a password. Okay.
Yes.
If you are a, I mean, Windows authentication means I already logged into this system and I have the full rights, okay,
Yes.
to do whatever I want to do. but
Yeah.
but if I go with SQL Server authentication, it will ask me for a password, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
let's give a password like
Mm-hmm.
ARV01 only, okay,
Yeah.
and the same one ARV01, okay. Now the next thing is, you have already created these things, okay. Now uh, the username password we have given. The rest thing is the default database which you want to give the access,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
here you can see whatever databases we are owning, we have this list of drop down, okay. So
Yes.
let's say for example I want to give you the access for adventure walk, okay.
Yes.
So I'll select adventure walk. Okay, simple.
That's it.
This one is a, I mean, you can see this selection page, right? So this one is basically the basic informations which are needed to create the user login. The
Yes.
next one is the server role.
Yeah.
Okay, so different roles are there which you can grant to a particular user. Okay,
Yes.
the next one is like user mapping.
Yeah.
So as you have noticed, I mean, I'm mapping to the adventure walk
Yes.
database. Okay. So adventure walk database I map to. Okay. So here you can find a different schema. I have not created any schema for now. So I'm giving the default schema, and as you know, default schema is DBO by default. If you are not
Yes. Yes.
specifying anything,
Yes.
it will be
Yes.
a default schema. Okay.
Yes.
The next thing is like securable. I'm not doing anything. Status. So in the status section, you can find like grant and deny. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you the access. So definitely it will be a grant. If I do deny, it won't allow you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, like login, if I
Again.
if I give you enable, it will allow you the login. If I'm not, then it will not allow you for
Yes.
login. Okay. So I have given all the informations.
Yeah.
Now let's it's time to give a click for OK. Okay, so
Yeah.
if I click on OK, it will validate everything and you can see one user has
Yes.
created. Okay,
Yes.
now let's try login using that one. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
let's try using, I mean, let's try to connect with the SQL Server Authentication. So while you are going to log in, okay, so you can see the thing which
Yeah, yeah,
which was there, like Windows authentication, SQL
yes,
Server, Azure, blah blah blah. So
yeah,
I have selected for SQL Server Authentication, so definitely
yeah,
I need to choose this one. Okay, so the username here is ARV01. Okay,
yeah,
and the password which we have given is like ARV01 only.
yeah,
Okay, so let's try to connect and let's see. So when you are going to give when you are going to log in for the first time, okay,
yeah,
so so what will happen, it will ask you for resetting your password, because see, I'm a DBA, I
yeah,
have set a password, I know your password, I can easily log into your account, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And I can do whatever I want,
Yes,
and if anything goes wrong, it will be on you, that
yes,
yes, you have done these things. So I mean, whenever you are going to log in for the first time, it will ask you for doing a reset password. Okay, so if you do a reset password, for the time being I'm giving the same as it is for easy understanding. Okay, so you can reset your password and you can log in to your DB. Okay, so now you can see, let me minimize this one. You can see I logged in using ARV01.
and you'll
Okay,
only see one database now.
yes, and if you expand this, you can see multiple one, but
You
the
can't open them.
if you are going to open this one, you see
Not
you,
accessible. Yeah, yeah.
not accessible, right?
Yeah, 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 I'm with
but
you.
but if you are going to click on this,
Adventure
you
works. Yeah,
see
you can see
adventure,
everything.
you can see everything. Why? Because I have given the access to adventure work only.
Yes, yes,
Clear?
yes. Perfectly clear. Thank you.
So the user login is clear to you, how you can create a
Yeah,
login,
yes,
how you can give the access to XYZ
yeah,
user, and then how you can perform the other task.
yes,
Everything is clear to you?
yes.
Okay. So let's explore a little bit about the schema. Okay, how you can create the SQL schema, because you have created one user. Now it's time to give the access to that particular schema which you have created
Yeah.
newly. Okay,
Mhm.
so before going to understand it, right? As I said, I mean, which schema you are pointing to, right? Let's see. Which schema I currently pointed
Yeah.
to. Currently I'm pointed to DBO schema,
Yes,
right? Clear?
yes.
So if I disconnect this one, okay, if I
Hmm.
disconnect this one and let me work on these things, okay. Now let me create a sorry, the schema, okay.
Hmm.
So how you can create the schema, okay.
Hmm.
So if I go here, if I come down, you can see here, right? You
Yeah,
can see the schema,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So if I click, you can see so many schema are there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So let me try to create a schema here, and the schema which is there, DBO, is currently pointing here. You can
Yes,
see,
yes,
right?
yes.
So similar to that, you can create your own schema. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, I'm interested to create one schema which is named as like XYZ. I mean, you can guess any name. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let me give a right click. Let me click
New
on
scheme.
schema, right? So let me try to give the schema to, sorry, schema name as customer. Okay.
Hmm.
And let's say, for example, schema owner. Let's say, for example, who is the schema owner? So let me try to find it out. Let's see. Schema owner will be ABR01, right? Let me try to see.
AVR. What's AVR?
Sorry.
What's AVR?
AVR basically the schema owner which we have already created, right? Arvind, right? So who will be the schema owner for
The
these?
user. We created user, but we've not done schema owner.
I just created one user.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can create that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I
The
mean,
ARB
you
is
can
pro.
you can see all those schema
Yeah.
users, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can give the access. Let's say for example, Avishek and Arvind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I click this one, Arvind, just say for example, let me give the access to Arvind only. And
Mm.
if I click and if I click on OK, you can see one schema got created. Okay.
Okay. What's the schema called? What name?
Customer.
Okay, we
The
call it customer. Okay.
yes, the new schema which we have created is schema.
Okay.
Now let me open another window so that I mean it will be easy and clear to you that yes, this one is basically the admin panel and the another one which I'll create is for the another user. Okay, or like let's say for example Arvind or Avishek. Okay,
Mhm.
will take some time. What went wrong? Yep. So now let me try to log in with ARV Arvind, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So now let me go to the new SQL window
Mhm.
and now let's see. I mean, if I go to the user panel, okay, and let's see what the I mean if I go to the user panel, let's see which is pointing to the same one or it's pointed to the another one. Okay, like let's say for example, if I go here, you can see the user mapping. If I go here, it will show DBO, right? But here we can
We can change it.
change it, right? Here we can simply change it to the
In
customer.
customer.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now if I go here and execute the same query,
We'll say customer.
it will say customer.
Yeah.
You see, right?
Yes.
Why? Because I just changed the default schema by
To
creating a new schema and assign it to the Arvind user. Okay. So
yes.
now Arvind is the owner of the customer schema. Okay. So whatever operation Arvind will perform, it will be under that one only. Okay. So let's say, for example, how many schema and other details, if you want to see, you can easily find it out. Like, let's say, for example, who is the schema, who is the owner of it, you can easily see. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, let's say, for example, if I execute the same query, you see here what you are getting customer with the schema owner name as Arvind.
Yes.
Okay, ARV01. So this is clear to you?
Mhm.
Any doubt or confusion?
No. No.
Okay. So we have covered like the introduction of schema. The concept of schema is clear. Creating a new schema we have covered. We have covered the new login, how you can create a new login. Let me see if anything I'm missing. Yes, one thing. I mean, we have seen using the wizard, those window, using the interface we have created the schema. Okay,
Yeah.
but the same thing you can create it using a SQL query as well. Okay,
Okay.
so for that one you just need to execute this command. Okay, and your schema will be
But
created.
okay, the question is, why do we create a schema?
A good question. Like, why do we create a schema? Right
Yeah,
now,
I
let
understand. I understand that we're attaching it to a new login or whatever. But why are we doing this?
So the first point which I said is a schema is a logical collection of tables, views, and other database objects, right?
Right. Right.
So let's say, for example, you are in an organization where you created one database for XYZ customer.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is always a good practice that yes, for a single user, for a single customer, will create a single database, single schema, and will assign it to different users. Okay.
Right. Right.
So, in let's say, for example, you are going to pitch the same product to the another customer. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that time also you need to create a separate schema for that new user. Sorry, new customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you will create a new schema, and the people who will work for that particular project, you will simply assign to that user, that yes, this is the schema, this is the table which will be used for so and so customer, and you are the user, so you just access it. That's it. Simple.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Any doubt?
No.
So the syntax, like create schema customer authorization demo user. Okay, so customer is the new schema name that we
Yeah.
want to create in the database. Okay,
Yes.
so currently we pointed to the adventure walk. You can see adventure, inside adventure walk we are going to create, and we specify the schema owner using the authorization keyword. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so after that, after executing the same thing, you can create it. Okay, like that. So here, the instead of demo user we have given arv01. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
here we have given the schema name. Let's say, for example, you are going to create a test one. Okay, and here let me give the username as Avishek. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if I execute it, you will find, sorry, oops, what went wrong? No issue. Oh, sorry, it's
2014.
2014.
Oh, yeah.
So if I execute it, you see, command executed successfully. Now if I go and if I check under this schema, will find one. Wait. So inside this adventure work, if I go to the schema,
Security.
security, schema section, you will find a new schema with test, I believe. Not yet. I need to refresh. Sorry. So you see, one new schema is created here, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So using you can create it using your SQL command. You can create it using your interface as well. Okay,
And
and yes,
and within test, you got what Abhishek as a user. Is that correct? Or
yes.
and how can we see that? Can you show me?
See,
Abhishek.
right?
That's the owner. Okay. It's the
Yes, that's the owner. If you want to change, you can search and you can change it from
okay.
here. Okay, like that it is. So we have seen these things. Which schema you pointed to? What are the schema list we have covered? Now, I mean, demo schema below the, if you are going to create by specifying, definitely these things are clear, like
Hmm.
schema name dot table name. If I'll point, then it will go and it will create inside that schema. So I'm not going in details. Okay, like if you give DBO, then it will be under your DBO schema and it will create this demo scheme XYZ table, and it will
Can,
be under that.
can we see you creating a table under one of our new schemas?
Yeah, sure. So let's say, for example, test. Okay.
Hmm.
If I create it, you see, this one is created. Now, let's say, for example, if I go to the adventure walk table, you can see so many things, right? DBO dot table name, human name,
Yeah, yeah,
person, blah, 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 right? So I created inside test and then demo. So
yeah.
definitely one table will be there, demo schema, and it will be under that. So if I go to the test, you can see, right?
Okay.
Clear?
Hmm. So test is the schema, and demo schema is
Is
the
the table
name.
name. Okay. Now if you want to create it inside a DBO, you simply execute this DBO dot, right?
Okay. In terms of what was I going to say? So this table that's been created in that schema.
Hmm.
So only people with access to that schema can access that database. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so you see, I created one demo schema inside one DBO. Okay,
Hmm.
so if I go to DBO, if I refresh it, I'll definitely find that one. Okay, you see demo
So,
schema.
so in the same way, like you created a table for a schema, you can create a view and it will go into a schema.
Yes, yes,
So, like we can say, create view test dot demo view. Same
yeah,
way,
yes, in the same
and,
way.
and 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 we would be able to see it in SQL Server Management Studio under the views left side.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay, I
exactly.
understand. I
So if
understand.
I click here, you see,
It
if
will come in here.
yes, you can
It will say
see,
test dot
you
something.
can see human resource dot b dot employee, right? Production dot this,
So
sales dot,
these are
yes,
all to do with schema.
yes, all to do with schema.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And so
so
when we want to use this, we would have to say um,
s-
use um, the database name and then select star from human resources dot v employee. Correct?
yes, yes.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
in that way, I mean, you can see this one in the beginning. It will be like first the schema name, then table name or the view name. Okay, so it is like that. In the same way, like if you are creating any procedure or function, it will be
Yeah.
like that only.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
so first it will be the schema name, then
Oh,
the name.
install procedure. You can have schema name as well.
Yes,
Okay, because we got
every
DBO. It's
yes,
because we got DBO
yes.
and the other one where you've created is a human resources schema.
Yes, yes. I mean, the concept will remain the same. Schema is basically your categorizing your database objects, the
Okay.
logical structure. Like if you are having big buildings, then you are segregating the flats into different floors, right?
Mm.
So a single building, you can consider it as a database. Okay, and the different flows, you can consider it as a schema, and under that different flows, you are
Yeah.
creating different flats, so that you
I'm
can
with you. I'm with you.
consider it as a database object. Okay,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm with
so
you. I
in
understand.
that way you can relate these things. Okay,
Yes, I
so
understand.
the concept of schema, creating new users, creating different objects inside that schema is clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. Any doubt or confusion so
No.
far?
No.
No, right? Now, let's say, for example, you create the last point which we are going to cover is the changing of schema. Okay, so you noticed we created one table like demo schema, right? Inside your DBO and inside a test schema as well, right? So
Hmm.
let's say, for example, let me first drop it from the drop table from here,
Yeah.
and the schema which I have created inside a test, I'm going to shift it into the DBO one. Okay,
Yeah.
so for that one, what we need to do is simply we'll go to the table. Okay, we just need to find it out where the table is. So as you notice, dbo.demo schema, this one we have removed. Okay,
Okay.
so let me give a refresh to see the exact one. So you can see this one gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we are having only the last one which is under the DBO. Sorry, under the test. Okay.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
this
Test.
one. So you can see test dot demo schema. Right click and then the designer window. Okay, and you just go to your properties window. Okay, and from here you can
Mm-hmm.
see the different the schema name. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to change it to the DBO. Okay, so I just need to select the DBO schema and just need to give permission, right?
Can you tell me that again?
Yes, sure. So let me close. I'm not going to change anything. Yes. So to change the schema of a table, you just need to go to the design window. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you need to go to the properties window.
Yeah.
Okay, and from the properties window you can see the schema name. Okay,
Yeah.
currently it is pointing to the test.
We can point to DBO then.
We can point to DBO and we can simply click on yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
once you are going to close this one, it will ask, right? So we are going to change it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the changes has been done. Now if I click on refresh, okay, it will give me the updated one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
let me give a refresh, and if I come down, see, from the bottom it removed, and
Yeah. It's
now
going to DBO.
it is under demo schema.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we have seen how to create the user, how to create the schema, how to give the schema access to XYZ users, and
Mm-hmm.
how we can change the schema object from one schema to the another schema. Okay,
Yeah.
so do
Yeah.
you have any doubt or
No.
confusion? No.
No.
Okay, so I mean, if you have any doubt or confusion, feel free to reach out to me.
Mm.
Okay, and if anything, you just let me know so that I'll cover these things in your next session.
Sure.
And